Hello friends, come one, come all, because today we're going to be looking at sorceries, underrated sorceries for less than $2.99. I would love to start the party off with incubation. I think this is a very interesting card. A lot of people don't even notice it because it's like on a two-sided card. You know what? Half of the card counts. You can play it for either a green or a blue. It's a sorcery. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So if you're looking for a very specific creature in your deck, or maybe, for example, your deck relies on some sort of creature combo and you got to be creating the consistency for it. I mean, this is like basically Ancient Stirrings for creatures. It is like a super ponder for creatures. I think you're going to want a few incubations in your deck. Not to mention also comes, hey, buy one incubation, get an incongruity for free, which can turn creatures into 3/3 green frog lizard tokens. But the show is really about the sorceries. Hedgeman. Well, I can say desist. Most people like cease, but desist saved my hide quite a few times. Okay, let's look up desist. By the way, incubation, only like 12 cents. That's a good price. This is about value. Okay, desist. Another split card today. So for 6 mana, sorcery, destroy all artifacts and enchantments. So it's basically like a crappy farewell. But it's budget farewell. I didn't even know farewell is even that expensive. So I guess it's a 1/3 of farewell with some random upside. Lesthian, requisition raid. I swear farewell isn't that expensive, like 50 cents or something. Requisition raid. We got a white sorcery. It's got spree. Pow, pow, pow. Is that what the spree means? They're spreeing the bullets everywhere? Probably not. Okay, choose one or more additional costs. You can pay 1 generic to destroy an artifact. You can pay 1 generic to destroy an enchantment. Or you can pay 1 to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature target player controls. I think you'd actually prefer moi. Thank you very much. Oh, this is actually really fantastic. It's disenchant plus like a pseudo like lord. And it could be all of them at once, actually. If you got 4 mana, you can play with everything. It's basically disenchant command. Ristradin, Dance of the Manse. By the way, everyone, I am learning how to use the keyboard without looking at it. I'm not there yet, but I'm learning. Then, so this is the French version, I think. Dance of the Manse. Blue, white, X. Sorcery. Return up to X. Target artifact and or non-aura enchantment cards, each with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Now, if X is 6 or more, those permanents are 4/4 creatures in addition to their other types. Do what I really like about this? Enchantments. You can bring back the enchantments. Is a budget. You know, there's a card called Replenish. Let's look at Replenish here for a second. This ain't cheap. It's like it's $88. All right, return all enchantments from your graveyard to play. This one at least can bring the enchantments back. Plus, if you spend enough mana, they're actually creatures. Go attack with them. A Blackbird, Black Sun Zenith. Yeah, what does this card do? I'm familiar with all the other Zeniths, but I'm not sure if I know Black Sun Zenith. This is going to be a new one for all of us. If it loads. The black, I know Green Sun Zenith. I know Blue Sun Zenith. I guess I don't know. I don't know red or white either. Okay, is this going to show up? Okay, maybe we'll just look up Zenith. Is that easier for Scry? It is. Okay, black, X, sorcery. Put X -1/-1 counters on each creature. Shuffle Black Sun Zenith into its owner's library. That's interesting because there's a few ways you could utilize this. First off, you can put the -1/-1 counters on your undying creatures that have a +1/+1. So it like shrinks them down, and then if they die, they're going to come back again. And on top of that, you can also use it to just kill your opponent's other creatures. I see some double-sided utility here. Next up, isn't this instant? Warping Whale? I'm pretty sure it's instant. Is that like, it doesn't have like a counter ability? It's an instant, sorry. Disqualiferinos. Summer Mermaid Star. Truth. or consequences. It's a voting card that I really love. Maybe we'll all love it. Truth or consequences. Oh, damn it. We looked up. Okay, let's get rid of or. If you look at, if just in Scryfall, if you put in word or this, it'll look up everything. So for 4 mana, it's a sorcery. Each player secretly votes for truth or consequences. Then those votes are revealed. You draw cards equal to the number of truth votes. Then choose an opponent at random. Truth or consequences deals 3 damage to that player for each consequences vote. Interesting. It's going to be. It's also going to be a little bit random. We got some super chats, starting with Geyer. Thank you very much for your super chat. Meltdown is a recently reprinted card. Do you know what though? It's not underrated. Like, this is a super popular card. I actually can't accept this one. Yeah, it hits red, destroys all clues, treasures, and food, and only a little investment in all mana rocks. Yeah, well, maybe you're making an argument that it should be seeing more play than it actually does. This is actually mostly a sideboard card or a cubing card. You're making the argument, every single commander deck should play this card. Okay, I can get behind that. Red X sorcery, destroy each artifact with mana value X or less. So you're telling me you hate mana rocks, you hate the soul ring, the treasures, the foods, the clues, and so on. Will melt down. Just melt it all down. In theory, it should give you something, like you get a big hunk of metal token to do whatever you want with it. Ozar, I thought it was both instant and sorcery. No, just sorcery. Unless it's a split card. I can get behind that. Toilet Duck with asinine antics. Who's in a good mood today? I'm in a good mood today. 4 mana sorcery, you may cast Asinine Antics as though it had flash if you pay 2 more to cast it. Feels like a creature or something. For each creature your opponent controls, create a cursed roll token attached to that creature. As flash, you pay more. That's 6 mana. So if you control another roll, put that 1 into the graveyard, enchant creature as a 1/1. Create a cursed roll token attached to that creature. Oh, so are we? Oh, it's basically a giant dress down. Is that what a cursed roll token is? So for 6 mana, no, for 4 mana, for each creature opponent controls. That's crazy. This is basically a sweeper for blue. 4 mana, maybe not actually kill all the creatures, but turn the army into basically worthless nothingness. Toads with Split Up. Sounds like a D&D card. It's not. Is it a D&D card? No, it's just Duskmourn. 3 mana sorcery. Choose one. Destroy all tapped creatures or destroy all untapped creatures. Haha, it's my turn. All my creatures are untapped. I wonder what all your creatures are doing. Okay, rated Lux. We got Rise of the Witch Queen. Witch King. And the rise of it. This is a 4 mana sorcery. Each player sacrifices a creature. If you sacrificed a creature this way, you may return another permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So I don't lose anything. If anything, this is going to be super backbreaking. Everyone's going to lose a creature, but I'm actually really reanimating something even bigger and more dangerous. Actually, what I'm still thinking about is that blue card. That's awesome. No wonder it's mythic. That's a super cool card. I gotta put that in my deck. Evan with blood money. What money out there is not blood money? Some little bit of blood on all that money. It's a black 5 generic sorcery. Destroy all creatures. For each non-token creature destroyed this way, create a tapped treasure token. So basically, you threw a bomb on some party, and then now you're looting them for everything that they have. Next up, Mr. Invisible wants claim fame. I remember this card was like big jank. Oh no, wait a minute. I think this card sees quite a bit of play right now. It's a black sorcery. Return target creature card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's basically reanimate for the smaller creatures. Don't forget you also have fame. This is also a sorcery. They can be played from your graveyard with Aftermath. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains haste until end of turn. I think the idea with the people who play this decks is you animate a creature, you buff it up, so it gets big, fast, attack, deal damage, and then fling it at them. They'll never see it coming. I'll never see it coming. Little MX Doom with Cruel Entertainment. This is just goofy. Seven mana sorcery. Choose target player and another target player. All right, I'm going to choose 2 players around here. The first player controls the second player during the second player's next turn, and the second player controls the first player during the first player's next turn. That's just confusing, and it's cruel and unusual punishment. Nadim, what's up? Nikachu, I always like Oust, and isn't modern legal. It's modern legal. It's just not good in modern anymore. That's all. But it's certainly modern legal. You can play Oust as much as you want in modern. White sorcery. Put target creature into its owner's library. Second from the top. Its controller gains 3 life. But don't be fooled. That 3 life may be worthless if you shuffle your stuff away. Yeah, boy. And Ted, I guess I gotta go with Inevitable Betrayal. I love this in decks with cascade effects because it costs 0 mana. Inevitable. This is not it either. Hold on. What am I missing here? Oops, I forgot a T here. I'll find it. Oh, you want a combo into this card, do you? It's a sorcery. Now you could suspend it for 3 mana, but you want to do the cascade route way, which is going to cascade directly into this. Search target opponent's library for a creature card and put that card onto the battlefield under your control. Then that player shuffles. You want the good old bribery. Budget bribery. Actually, I don't even know what bribery costs these days. Yeah, I played a little bit of bribery. I didn't really find it all that impressive, to be honest. Usually I just become this giant target if I take their best card. Maxwell, thank you very much for your super chat. You want Doppelgang? The Doppelgang can even copy lands. Really? So you're telling me this is like mana ramp? This is weird mana ramp that's not actually mana ramp. Sorcery. For each of X target permanents, create X tokens that are copies of that permanent. You can copy lands. You can have a land army. You're going to have to pay a lot. You're going to need mana to make mana. Imagine that, spending 8 mana on this thing just to copy 2 lands and ramp yourself up 2 more. I would feel like that is not a very... not the greatest use of ramp. But, you do what you got to do. You can maybe copy a good one, like Dark Depths or something. Christopher B. Nature's Resurgence. Nature's Blessing. Next is a lot of nature cards. Nature's Resurgence. Where is Nature's Resurgence? There it is. It's an old one. Christopher B loves the old cards. 4 mana sorcery. Each player draws a card for each creature card in their graveyard. So if you've been so devious to be self-milling yourself some creatures into your graveyard, boom! Oh, you know what's another interesting thing you could do with this card? Be playing a mill deck. Now, you get people to dump a lot of their creatures into their graveyard, and then somewhere when they have I don't know, 3/4 of their deck in their graveyard, you play Nature's Resurgence to make them draw the rest of the cards in their decks. Like, oh, you have 30 creatures in your graveyard. Well, draw 30 cards. Anyway, I think it's funny. I think it's a hoot. Next up, we got T. Corellis. Curse of the Swine. Huge favorite of mine. No, Curse of the Swine is good. Another one of them rare blue removals. Blue X, sorcery, exile X target creatures, but for each creature exiled this way, its controller creates a 2/2 green boar creature token. Basically, you're giving them the bears. The bears. Give them a lot of bears. Substone, venture forth. 4 mana sorcery. Exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a land card. Put that card onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Then you got to exile Venture Forth with 3 time counters on it. Oh, you can also suspend it for 2 mana. So basically, it just keeps coming back, and it keeps coming back. Now, you're going to want to play this in an environment. You're going to need a play group that's like, is there any 2-card combo decks? Are there any turn 3 combo decks here? Turn 4 combo? Oh, okay, we can play up to turn 15. Great. I'm gonna play with Venture Forth because you're gonna need that environment. Otherwise, it's like it's gonna be a little dubious. The Chest of Treasures with Connive/Concoct. Which one do you want? Well, maybe you want both of them. Connive is a 4 mana sorcery. Gain control of target creature with power 2 or less. I like that. There's a lot of great creatures at power 2 or less. There's a lot of expensive cards that just have power 2 that you can swipe, even at 0 power. And then Concoct, we have 5 mana sorcery. Surveil 3, then return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So we got a little bit of reanimation action here. You can steal creatures. You can also steal things back from the dead. Little MX Doom, thank you very much for your super chat. Excavation Technique. A lot of excavation cards. But we need the technique. Excavation. There we go. Found it. 4 mana sorcery with Demonstrate. When you cast this spell, you can copy it. But if you do, choose an opponent that also copies it. Players may choose new targets for the copy. Destroy target non-land permanent. Its controller creates 2 treasure tokens. Basically, you need an ally. And do what? Together, we can destroy both those threats at once. More or less. Yeah, destroy 2. But I guess the downside is like you can give the option to your opponent, and then they could just end up destroying one of your things. They can blow your own stuff up. There's no way you're gonna convince me that Burning Wish is underrated. That is a super highly played card. David Hauer with the start the TARDIS. How do you start it? Is it like a chainsaw? Okay, 2 mana sorcery, Surveil 2, then draw a card. You may planeswalk. What? You may planeswalk? Okay, I don't understand that part. And what's funny is they're explaining the Surveil thing in here. I don't know. To Surveil 2, look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put any number of them into your graveyard. That's not the explanation I needed. Thank you very much. Jumpstart, you may cast this card from your graveyard by what does planeswalk do? Like, that apparently is everything to this card. You may planeswalk. Is this a plane chase card or something? This looks like AI text. Yeah, you're not wrong. You have to play plane chase. Okay. If it's plane chase stuff, then this is out of my league. I don't know how good or bad this thing is. It could be terrible. Okay, my instincts serve me well. My understanding doesn't change, though, because I don't play plane chase. Okay, we got Meme Bruley with Martyr's Cry. Italian. So consult the scriptures. Really? Martyr's Cry. Don't cry, martyr. It's in English. Who said it's only in Italian? Okay, white sorcery. Exile all white creatures. For each creature exiled this way, its controller draws a card. That could work both ways. I mean, you could use this as a one-sided board wipe for the player playing white. You could also do this to yourself if you're only playing with like white tokens as a creature. They occasionally could be like a board to be reckoned with, or you could because it says exile all white creatures, so you can exile your own and you super cash in on it. Next, let's look at Exesta, the Enduring Ideal. I think this is too popular, to be honest. I don't think this is underrated. I think this is a very beloved card. So I can't accept it for this show. Okay, who does not have card yet? Everyone, you gotta fight! You gotta fight for your card. Okay, Bryce with Harsh Mercy. Harsh Mercy is a 3-mana sorcery. Each player chooses a creature type. Destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen type this way. They can't be regenerated. Each player chooses a creature. So you get to choose every. So it pays off to be in Kindred. So if you're an all wizards deck, if you're all fairies, this card does absolutely nothing. You want to be diversified with a bunch of mishmash? Well, your mishmash gonna crash. Okay, we have a little MX Doom with a super chat. Path of the Pyromancy. Just ignore the last part. Was that doesn't make it bad? Oh, Path of the Pyromancer. This is a 7-mana sorcery. Discard all cards in your hand. Add red for each card discarded this way. Then draw that many cards +1. It's like a one-sided. It's a one-sided Wheel of Fortune with some upside. And you have Will the Planeswalker, starting with you. Each player votes for Planeswalk or Chaos. If Planeswalk gets more votes, Planeswalk. If Chaos gets more votes, Chaos ensues. This is like an AI generated card. Where Planeswalking, Chaos ensues. What's going on here? Benovsky, single combat. Not to be mistaken with double combat. 5-mana sorcery. Each player chooses a creature or planeswalker they control. Then you gotta sacrifice the rest. Players can't cast creature or planeswalker spells until to the end of your next turn. Whatever we got, we got. And then we're gonna fight to the death. Choose your best champion. You gotta stick to it. Mr. Invisible with Rankle's Prank. It is underutilized, you say. 4-mana sorcery. Choose one or more. Each player discards 2 cards. Each player loses 4 life. Or each player sacrifices 2 creatures. What I like about this is the last mode is basically a board wipe under some circumstances. When you're in a matchup where like just people don't have a lot of creatures, but the ones that they do have out are like really high impact. They're the ones that really matter, including their commander. So yeah, I really like this. And so it's basically like sort of soft board wipe plus upside. Next, oh boy, with the cleansing meditation. I have a cleansing meditation whenever I'm on the toilet. White cards in Torment were misprinted with low resolution pixelated art. I don't really see that. It's a 3-mana sorcery. Destroy all enchantments. This is a great card. Threshold. Instead, destroy all enchantments. Then return to play all cards in your graveyard destroyed this way. Wow! This is awesome. So you get you blow everything up, but your stuff comes back, and you can get ETBs out of it. Think of the ETBs, everyone. Accessa, you're coming for redemption. Elemental eruption. What, like a volcano? Basically. It's a 6-mana sorcery. Create a 4/4 red dragon elemental creature token with flying and prowess, and it's got storm. So storm away. Make as many 4/4s as you could possibly want. James with Consuming Tide. 4-mana sorcery. Each player chooses a non-land permanent they control. Return all non-land permanents chosen this way to their owner's hands. Then you draw a card for each opponent who has more cards in their hand than you. So you have to make sure you're going to draw into like... So you need to draw as many cards as they have in their hand. And I have assumed you're going to be drawing a boatload of cards. Little MX Doom. Fevered Suspicion. 8-mana sorcery. Each player Sorry, each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. You may cast any number of spells from among those non-land cards without paying their mana cost, and it has Rebound. This is like a win condition by itself. It's a 6-for-1. It's a 6-for-1. This card is sick. And how are you gonna brick? I mean, I guess there's a world just like, okay, hit mana rock, hit mana ramp, hit mana rock, hit mana dork. Damn it! Don't you guys have anything? Don't you guys have any meat in your decks? We need some meat on those bones. Okay, Hexenort with the Nipton Library. Nip them away. Nipton, doesn't find anything. What if I look up Nipton? Okay, I'm just gonna look up Nipton. Oh, is it? Oh, I'm an idiot. I keep reading library. It's lottery. 4 mana sorcery. Choose a creature at random. You gain control of that creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste until end of turn. Then you destroy all other creatures? But it blows up your own stuff too. You gain control of that creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste. Then destroy. It's like, usually when you steal somebody's creature, you have to give it back. And then instead, in this case, you lose it. But actually, we lose everything. Nobody gets to keep anything around here. Very interesting. Nadim with, I wonder if you would consider Stitch Together. Stitch Together Forever. Is this one of those human centipede things? Is a black sorcery. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's basically a black regrowth. Then Threshold, return that card from your graveyard to the battlefield if 7 or more cards in your graveyard. I think that's great. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. So, worst case scenario, black regrowth. Best case scenario, reanimate. Bulky with Promise of Power. You gonna keep your promise, Bulky? It looks like a genie. It looks like Jafar from the end of Aladdin. We have a 7 mana sorcery. Choose one. You draw 5 cards and you lose 5 life. Deal. You could put an XX black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield, where X is the number of cards in your hand as the token enters the battlefield. You can also entwine for 4, so you can get both of them. So at the very least, you're gonna have a 5/5 black demon creature. I like the 5. I like the 5 mana. Draw 5, lose 5 life thing. I think the real purpose though is you need to get both of these off, and then you're living. Then you're living great. We got Rezi back for seconds. Just like going to a buffet. 3 mana for a sorcery with Bargain. You may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast the spell, and then return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. If the spell was bargained, you may put one of those cards with mana value 4 or less onto the battlefield instead of putting it into your hand. So, this is like a clunkier version of Stitch Together, basically, but same idea. Put it into your hand or put it onto the battlefield. Substone, the Winds of Abandon. By the way, Castle Star, Chain Lightning, not underrated. Very, very... I'm not going to say it's overrated. It's very rated, though. It's super rated. Can't suggest Winds of... it's Abandon. The Winds of Abandon. Not Abandon. The 2 mana sorcery, exile target creature you don't control. Then for each creature exiled this way, its controller searches their library for a basic land card. Those players put those cards onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle their libraries. But then you could overload it for 6 mana. Oh, wait a minute. This card's too expensive. Look, this card is actually a little too good. You see, $6. Needs to be less than $2.99. Disqualified. Sorry about that. Need to find cheaper cards. This card's too good. Maybe underrated, but still too good. We got Homestead Made Easy, Abandoned Hope. I've heard of this card. This card's actually good. I thought people just like to use the name as a meme. You know, Pithing Needle, name Abandoned Hope. It's a huge flex right before you kill somebody. I don't know how to spell. It's a 2-mana with X, sorcery. Choose and discard X cards. Look at target opponent's hand and choose X of those cards. That player discards the chosen cards. I think if you put this in a Madness deck, you put this in some sort of Dredge deck or Reanimator deck. I think there is something behind this. You got to build your deck around it, though. you need to feel pretty happy about discarding your cards. Don't feel bad about it, because it looks like you're going to discard your hand. This is a one-sided, or not one-sided. This is like a double-sided, one with nothing. We're both going to be one with nothing. Okay, we're going to look at more underrated Magic the Gathering cards for $2.99. But let me tell you where you can get them from. You can get them from FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite place to buy my Magic the Gathering cards, and today's sponsor. Not only can you get awesome underrated sorceries for $2.99, you can get Oh, I think there's a new deal of the week this week. Is there a new deal? Okay, the new deal hasn't shown up yet. Maybe you still have time for 15% off all single secret layers and box sets. Not to mention, Aetherdrift is out. Go get them underrated sorceries from Aetherdrift. And you might be asking, Nikachu, you know what? You can get 15% off box sets from Secret Lair and singles. But can I do better? Yes, you can. You can use coupon code Nikachu to get 5% off all your purchases. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online for Magic Online. Support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 40% cash back on your 3rd month subscription using coupon code Nikachu_BKS. Rent so you can play as many decks as you want, as many formats as you want. It's a beautiful thing. A very, very beautiful thing. Back to underrated cards. Next up, Castle Star with Tempt with Discovery. This is a 4-mana sorcery with Tempting Offer. Search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. Each opponent may search their library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. For each opponent who searches a library this way, search your library for a land card and put it onto the battlefield. Then each player who searched a library this way shuffles. Interesting. So basically, the idea is, do you want a land? Well, if you get it, you give me a land. And we all know everybody chooses the land card. This is also very expensive. Sorry, this card is just below $2.99, but you know what? It counts. Dinglebag with the Ether Shop. Let me guess. I can buy Ether Vials, Ether. I can buy everything Ether here. Is that the kind of shop it is, Dinglebag? I don't even know what all the Ether cards are in this game. Oh, sorry, it's Ether Snap. I think there's something wrong with me. I keep misreading all the cards. I was getting excited. I wanted to go to the Ether Shop. It's a 5-mana sorcery. Remove all counters from all permanents and exile the tokens. Screw you, proliferate. Screw you. Next up, we've got... You didn't get a card yet, Kano? Let's go to Chain Reaction. I think a lot of people know what Farseek is. It's a 4-mana sorcery. It deals X damage to each creature, where X is the number of creatures on the battlefield. The more creatures on the battlefield, the greater the damage. You might say it was a chain reaction. Lil MX Doom with another super chat. Thanks so much for your super chat. The Flood of Tears. Six mana. So for a return all non-land permanents to their owner's hand. If you return 4 or more non-token permanents you control this way, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. I think that is quite amazing. So it's basically Upheaval plus Show and Tell all in one card. I like it. Yeah, I can get behind this big time. Next card coming to us from Yeezus, Deadly Cover-Up. Was the FBI there? It's a 5 mana sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect evidence 6. Destroy all creatures. If evidence was collected, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. Then search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name and exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each exiled card from their exiled that way from their hand. You destroy. Okay, so it's a board wipe. Plus, if there's a particular card you don't want to deal with, you can exile it. Would be a lot better in 60 card Magic than Commander, because the whole thing about like exiling a card and then looking through the deck for more copies of it wouldn't work. Can it be anything, or is it an online card? Exile a card from an opponent's graveyard, then search its owner's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the name. Do you know what's interesting? Exile a card from an opponent's graveyard. Oh, it has to be the opponent's graveyard. I was thinking if you could target yourself, target your basic land. You can target basic lands with this thing, but you might actually be helping them. Unless their mana screwed. Target their basic land. We're going to take all your basics. All of it. Get them right. Get them out of here. Yeah, it's a damn plus surgical. Let's look at... Did you see Beyblades were responsible for parting the Red Sea? Nope. Had no idea. Dr. Nemo, Beacon of Unrest. Five mana sorcery. Put target artifact or creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Shuffle Beacon of Unrest into its owner's library. To be honest, that's a very expensive reanimator. It's a super expensive reanimator. So it's like reanimation plus like some sort of Zenith card. Spectral Maniac with Tragic Arrogance. Arrogance always ends tragically. That is the thing of arrogance. It's a 5 mana sorcery for each player you choose from among the permanents that player controls an artifact, creature, an enchantment, and a planeswalker. Then each player sacrifices all other non-land permanents they control. Another super chat from Lil MX Doom. Thanks so much. Into the Time Vortex. Maybe we can go back in time. Or forward through time. It's the TARDIS. 5 mana sorcery. Sorry, they're all sorceries. Cascade. Oh, that's Cascade and Rebound. So it's gonna like you're gonna play it, but then it's actually gonna come back next turn. You get two Cascades in one. Effectively, it's 5 mana, get 2 cards. Under 5 mana. We have Islarf, Razor Grass Ambush. Getcha, huh? Underrated from the group of modal face cards. Okay. Yeah, I think there's a lot of underrated, underutilized, underplayed double face cards. So the backside of this is a land. Nothing wrong with that. You have to pay 3 life for that land. That's ridiculous. For it to come into play untapped, that is. So this is a 2 mana instant. This is a source. We're working with sorceries today. Islarf, sorceries. Disqualified. Super disqualified. Quadizzle. How is Treasure Cruise underrated? How? Explain that to me. That is not underrated. Unless you're claiming that it is so good, like every single blue deck is supposed to play it and they don't. Maybe that's what you're implying here. Christopher B with Raffellos gift. Raffellos has a gift. Green sorcery. Reveal any number of green cards in your hand. Return an enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand for each card revealed this way. The only thing I like, it's a strong effect, so you can basically get like a bunch of enchantments back to your hand. Why are they in the graveyard? How did that happen? Sounds like not a place you want to be. Thompson TM, maybe it means trademark. Descent of the Dragons. A lot of dragons, huh? Okay, 6 mana sorcery. Destroy any number of target creatures. Oh, I get to choose this? For each creature destroyed this way, its controller puts a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Could end up making a lot of dragons. Could make a lot of... could make a big dragon army for yourself. Key mats with cut a deal. Let's make a deal around here. Deal or no deal? You know, as stupid as that show was, I enjoyed it so much. With Howie Mandel. 3 mana sorcery. Each opponent draws a card. Then you draw a card for each opponent who drew a card this way. You want to draw a card? Do we have a deal or no deal? My favorite part of that show was people had a massive amount of money on the line. Like, there was like 150,000 and there was like a bunch of crappy things, and they would never take any deals, and then eventually they screw up, and like all the big prize things are gone, and they feel they're like they look super disappointed, but they're like, it's okay, it was meant to be. No, it's not okay. You should have taken the deal much earlier. Little MX Doom with another super chat. Thanks so much for your super chats. The Volcanic Torrent. Better than it looks, you say? I believe you. It's a 5 mana sorcery, also with Cascade. I see where you're going here. You like playing with Cascade, do you? And then it deals X damage to each creature and Planeswalker your opponent's controller. X is the number of spells you've cast this turn. So, okay, so the idea is, I guess you need to cascade into a cascader, into a cascader, into a cascader. Nikachu thrived on their tears. Oh, absolutely. That was the best part of watching shows like that. I very much enjoyed that part of the show. We've got Yeezus, Season of Weaving. Nice art. 6 mana sorcery. Choose up to 5 paw worth of modes. You may choose the same mode more than once. You know, these cards... Oh, I'm sorry, Yeezus. This is too expensive. Too expensive! It's like, oh, they're all over $3. All of them. Got disqualified. Too good! Which means it's not underrated enough. Bread and Cheese Man! Morbid Curiosity. Does this have something to do with going into a morgue? Okay, 3 mana, sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Draw cards equal to the converted mana cost of the sacrificed permanent. So you have to basically set this up. You have to set this up. So it's like some sort of a weird greater good for black. But you do have to set it up that you sacrifice a big creature. I don't know if I'm in love with that. So hold on, what is greater good? It's draws 4. Okay, so you can just put a 4 mana permanent. Oh, you know what you can also do is you can just sacrifice a creature with Undying. Like Geralf's Messenger. Draw 3 cards. Creature comes back anyway. It's not like you lost anything. Next up. Titanic Ultimatum. It's kind of underrated, not really used. Is that an actual card? Titanic Ultimatum. Oh, it is! White, white, green, 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 red, red. Sorcerer. Until end of turn, creatures you control, they get +5/+5. They gain first strike. They gain lifelink, but most importantly, they gain trample. So even if you don't win, you're probably going to gain such a boatload of life that you're not really in a position to lose either. We're going to invoke justice around here, says Dr. Nemo. You're going to have justice, and you're going to like it. 5 mana sorcery. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield, then distribute 4 +1/+1 counters among any number of creatures and or vehicles target player controls. You're gonna like you're gonna get some counters, and you're gonna like it. Okay, Islarf wants redemption. World at War. Redemption. This is a super popular card, and it's like $6. Sorry, the cheapest is $7. Too good. Way too good. Fireburn, welcome. Neoform is an absolute banger. Yeah, but that makes it overrated. We're very rated. Maybe it deserves more attention. The green-blue sorcery, and as an additional cost to cast the spell, you got to sack a creature. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sack creature's converted mana cost. Put that card onto the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, then shuffle your library. Long story short, try to cheat a very large creature into play through like some sort of alternate casting cost, and then sacrifice it for an even bigger creature. That's the key. It's not $6. Oh yeah, well, what world do you live in? Look, so the list version is $7. The Rise of the Eldrazi version is $8, and I don't know any other versions out there. I don't know any other versions. It's expensive. Yeah, it's not $6, it's $7. You're right. Steve Cooper with the blinding lights. That's what happens when I wake up and I turn my kitchen light on when it's still dark outside at 6 o'clock in the morning. Blinding Light, a 3-mana sorcery. Tap all non-white creatures. That doesn't I don't feel like that happens when I turn the light on in the morning. Tap all non-white creatures. So you gotta play that in your mono-white token deck. And you will attack for absolute supreme. Whoops, you'll attack for supreme victory. Need a victory sound effect here. I like the potential. We got Indiana Jones with Choking Sands. $1.70. Well, I guess in super heavily played condition. I only got American prices on me. Okay, I'm gonna hit you on the other side. No, maybe not. Maybe that is an underrated card. Okay, Choking Sands, 3-mana sorcery. Destroy target non-swamp land. If that land was non-basic, Choking Sands deals 2 damage to the land's controller. So it's like pillage with damage. You destroy the land, and also you fry them for a little bit of mana. Okay, we'll give War of the Worlds. Apparently, it's €1.70 on Card Market, even translated into US dollars. Pretty sure that gets underneath 1.7 euro in USD. Yeah, that's good. It's good. Okay, 5-mana sorcery. After the first post-combat main phase, this turn there is an additional combat phase followed by an additional main phase. At the beginning of that combat, untap all creatures that attack this turn, and it's got rebound. Think of how many attack steps you're going to have with this thing. So many attack steps. And... oh, Bring to Light is too good. There are actually combo decks developed by that card. Until I caught in a Coffee and MTG show. Love the stream. I don't know if this existed until... okay. No, a very, very, very popular card. Nadim says, I strongly feel Theft of Dreams is slept on in EDH. The Theft of Dreams. Also, borrowing 100,000 arrows is the same. So Theft of Dreams, a 3-mana sorcery. Draw a card for each tapped creature target opponent controls. That's actually quite amazing. No, you could totally draw a ton of cards, especially if the game goes long and there's like the board's really clogged up. And there's definitely, you know what you got to do? I tell you what you got to play the Blinding Light first, and then you follow it up into Theft of Dreams. And I mean, you're rich. Just tap down all those creatures. Tap it all down. Next up, let's get one from Bonovsky. No card, but can I have a DK sound effect? Absolutely, you can have them all. I'll give you all the DK sound effects. Let's give one to Adam. Promise of Loyalty. Five-mana sorcery. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacrifices the rest. Each of those creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control for as long as it has a vow counter. You took the oath. No attacksies. No attacks backsies around here. We did evoke despair. Very great card. Yeah, we're comboing now. It's turned into a combo show. The original Feelord says, yeah, I play Theft and 100,000 Arrows. Now we have to look at this card. What's going on here? In my Hilda deck, so good. 3 mana sorcery, draw a card for each tap creature. Oh, another one of those. Okay. Draw a card for each tap creature an opponent controls. That's value. You've drawn so many cards. Keymat. Fire Spouts. Oh, you mean Fire Spout? I'm a little teapot, short and spout. This is my handle. This is my fire. Okay, 3 mana sorcery. Deals 3 damage to each creature without flying if red was spent to cast the spell. Or it can deal 3 damage to each creature with flying if green was spent to cast the spell. So if you're an all flyers deck, you just pay the red. And this doesn't deal anything to any of your stuff. Or if you're all on the ground, you pay the green and it destroys the flyers. You can pay both, though, also. And it's just a run-of-the-mill Anger the Gods of some sort. Lil MX Doom with Stolen Grain. Sounds rude. Not good in the slightest, but the fact that this can kill Planeswalkers is so funny. All right, so maybe we're going to have a little bit of Tack versus the Planeswalkers. It looks like an old card, too. So we have 6 mana sorcery. Stolen Grain deals 5 damage to target opponent. You gain 5 life. Oh, yeah, and they've errated it. So target opponent or planeswalker. It is a super lightning helix for the planeswalkers. And it will kill most planeswalkers. And not many of them go up to 6 immediately. Not many. Some, but not many. Okay, who has no 2 cards yet? We're going to go with Old Boy's Route. I have a feeling a lot of cards are going to pop up for this search. A lot of cards. Oh, there's 29. You're killing me, old boy. You're killing me. There's like Sprout and Outburst. There we go. I found Route. Is the Route. 5 mana for a sorcery. May cast Route as though it had flash if you pay 2 more to cast it. That's 7 mana. Just royal creatures. They can't be regenerated. But I will say there is some value to having a card that is instant speed. So, you know, they can't underestimate you if you've got 7 mana up. They got to be on their toes at all costs. Next up, let's go look at Monacala with Demonic Council. Oops, I spelled it wrong. Demonic Council is a pretty great tutor card. We all love tutor cards. Demonic Counts. Does such a card exist? Oh, yeah, it does. Okay, it's a 2 mana sorcery. Search your library for a demon card, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. But here's the deal. If you have Delirium, if there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, instead, search your library for any card and put it into your hand. Don't forget to shuffle. Don't be stacking your deck now. So this is budget demonic tutor. Isn't demonic? I'm just curious. Demonic tutor. What is the oh, this is money. Oh yeah. It's like $50. This is less money. We're talking $1. What do you want? You want to play with the card that's $50 or you want to play with the one that's $1? $1 is good. Oh, is it a CDH card? You can never have enough demonic tutors in your deck. Can't have enough demonic tutors. Wormquake. We're making worms around here. 6 mana sorcery. Corrupted. Create an XX green Phyrexian worm. Worm creature token with trample and toxic 1, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast the spell. Then for each opponent with 3 or more poison counters, you create another one of those tokens. I have a feeling if an opponent has 3 or more poison counters on them, they have more to worry about than the worms. And you can also flash this back for 10 mana. So you can have a lot of mana. You know what to do with it. We know what to do with it, chat, don't we? Yes, of course we do. Less than ill-timed explosion. Well, I imagine most explosions are ill-timed. It's a 4-mana sorcery. Draw 2 cards, then you may discard 2 cards. When you do, Ill-Timed Explosion deals X damage to each creature, where X is the greatest mana value among cards discarded this way. Ah! So you draw a bunch, you like discard Emrakul or something, or maybe not Emrakul because that's highly banned, but Blightsteel Colossus. And Blightsteel Colossus will shuffle back into your deck for maybe another ill-timed explosion. An ill-timed explosion I have to deal with on a regular basis is some sort of run to the bathroom because of some sort of spicy food. I have to be very careful with spicy food, especially when I'm traveling. Jinxed with Animato's Augury. Thank you very much for the super chat. The Augury is a 8-mana sorcery. Exile the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a land card from among them onto the battlefield. It better do more than that. That'd be the crappiest ramp card of all time. Until end of turn, for each non-land card type, you may cast a spell of that type from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost. That could be a lot of cards. Aminato is like staring directly into my soul. No, I got your super chat, Lil MX Doom. You know, you have so many super chats. I'm just trying to like space you out amongst everybody else. That's all. I got you. Don't worry, I'm gonna get you. Blacklands Geo, a spectacular pileup. We have a 5-mana sorcery. All creatures and vehicles lose indestructible until end of turn. Then destroy all creatures and vehicles. That's exactly what happens when someone throws the blue shell. This is the blue shell in action. It doesn't matter what you have. I think there is almost nothing you can do to avoid a blue shell. I can't remember. There's like one trick to avoid a blue shell. I've seen it happen. It's some means of like side swiping the blue shell or something, but I don't remember. Oh, you have to time a mushroom really well. You have to be like perfect with the mushroom, and you can dodge it as it's like coming to crash down. We got excited Raichu. Excited maybe to become Raichu. I've always been a fan of by invitation early. It's very flexible and gets around a lot of protection. Old boy also says, I'd argue that combustion engines alone make the majority of explosions on Earth. Ah, yes. Is it called by invitation? Invitation early? Maybe is it invitation early? I don't know if I know this card. Does anyone know this card? I'll look up invitation. Oh, only. Oh, you said only. I don't know. That's just my brain these days. I'm not reading anything properly. Okay, it's a 5-mana sorcery. Choose a number between 0 and 13. Why 13? That's an no one should choose 13. That's the unlucky number. Each player sacrifices that many creatures. Good God! Choose a number between 0 and 13. Each player sacrifices. Oh, so I get to choose whatever I want. I see. Okay, so if I have 8 creatures in play, but everyone else has 5, I choose 5. And I keep my 3 best cards. That works. Next up. Are you a fan of Kirby games, especially on the SNES? A little bit. A little bit. I wasn't ever deep into them, but like they're fine. They're good. Not a Kirby hater. Okay, let's get Yeezus' what? Slagstorm? This is a 3-mana sorcery. It can deal 3 damage to each creature, or it can deal 3 damage to each player. You make the choice. Okay, PDX with Crippling Fear. This is Crippling Fear. That's what every 16-year-old boy feels when they need to ask a girl out to the prom or something. Okay, it's a 4-mana sorcery. Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't of the chosen type get -3/-3 until end of turn. That's what it feels like when they get rejection, too. They get the -3, -3. Next up, Hexenor, Lively Dirge. Lively Dirge, 2-mana sorcery with Spree. Pay 1, search your library for a card, put it into your graveyard, then shuffle. 3 mana to put a card in your graveyard. Then for 2 mana, return up to 2 creature cards with a total mana value of 4 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So 5 mana, big time reanimation. Okay, next up. Let's look at that Little MX Doom Selfless Glyph Weaver, shall we? Has a sorcery on the... Oh, you want the backside. Backside counts. Oh, so it's a human. So 3 mana, 2/3, exile this thing. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. That front side is actually quite good. But we want to look at Deadly Vanity. This is a 8 mana sorcery. Choose a creature or planeswalker. Then destroy other creatures and planeswalkers. Only I am allowed to live. I am so great. Let me prove it. I destroy you all. Ha! If you were so great, you'd still be alive, but you're not. Fools. Okay, well, of course, we have a very generous donation from Steve Cooper. Exponential Growth. This and Jumbo Cactar would be funny. And also, we're going to donate to 2. Exponential Growth. Green, XX sorcery. Until end of turn. Double target creature's power X times. Oh my god, with the Cactar? The Cactar? Okay, we have 2 super chats. Let's give one of them to Trent Sims. Insurrection. Just got here. It surprises me how few decks I have seen this in, given how easily it swings games. I guess the problem is it's 8 mana, Trent. 8 mana sorcery, untap all creatures, and gain control of them until end of turn. They gain haste until end of turn. Yeah, I agree. Well, you have a problem here, actually, Trent. Problem is the card is too expensive. It's like it's got to be under $3. You know what? This card probably does see a lot of play because it does end games on the spot. So for that one unfortunately doesn't count. You think that's under $3? Well, maybe on maybe in card market, in very heavily played. Been through the washer and dryer condition. The Warhammer effect. Okay, we're going to give you the super chat. Doom Blast. Cough. Teferi's Time Wipe. We have 7 mana sorcery. Choose up to 1 creature and destroy the rest. Basically in the same vanity as... Where is it? Oh, where did it go? Somehow I erased that card. Oh, yeah, it was this one. The Deadly Vanity. It was in the same vanity as the Deadly Vanity. Doom Blast is good. Okay, next up. Let's look at... Is there anyone who did not get a card? Nothing. Not a zilch. Let's give one to Toads. Body of Research. Be some great body of research. Ooh, what a casting cost. Blue, 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 green, green, green. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X+1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of cards in your library. So that's going to be a big creature. So you're going to have a lot of cards in that library. You commander players, you're crazy, and your 99 card nonsense. All right. That's it for today. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. I appreciate it. We looked at a lot of very underrated cards for less than $3 because there's people out there, they're looking for value. They want to spend $50 for a demonic tutor. They want to spend $1. And it's because of you that they're going to be able to do that. And of course, if you want to be part of the show, you got to be here 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thank you very much. And also, thank you very much also to everyone who supports the show financially. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. Of course, we got to thank the crew here, the Coffee Crew, the Zyber Nation, for being here today. People like PDX, Emil, Trent Sims, Kano, Steve Cooper, Leslie and Jess, Little Deadfly, Old Boy, Hexenor, Zeus, Spectral Maniac, Dr. Nemo. We got Keymat, Toads. Who else do we have here? And more, because you guys are the show. You're the reason that this show exists every single day. And I'm sure the entire community appreciates it. So as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing them coffees, and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you at the next cup.